to the SportsMax Zone. We turn our focus now to football. Well, match day 3 of the newly minted league format of the UEFA Champions League served up some interesting matches for us to enjoy, with one of the biggest matchups seeing the finalists from last year's grand final at the Wembley Stadium in a rematch. Reigning champions Los Blancos Real Madrid, they faced off against the Yellow Wall Borussia Dortmund, and this time with a new head coach in the dugout this season, Nuri Sahin, and we head to the Santiago Bernabeu for the highlights.
That's a great pass that from Bensebaini. Lucas Vazquez read it. It is found to Marlon, and Daniel Marlon has taken his chance.
Round the corner to Marlon, knows exactly where he is, in between two players, and what a finish.
Riasson, Marlon outside. Girassi just hanging back in a pocket outside the area. Marlon, oh, it's in again. It's Giddens this time. It's 2-0 Dortmund.
Marlon gets himself into a position. You can see Real Madrid, they are looking for Girassi, who's just hanging back. Plays the ball right across to Giddens, who's there at the far post.
Vinicius Junior, Lucas Vazquez, Militao, Bellingham. Here's Mbappe. Forced wide by Schlotterbeck. Rudiger. The route back begins. Real Madrid non-stop pressure since the restart. They're just not going away. And Mbappe, well, he hasn't been able to find a way yet.
It's attack versus defence now, isn't it?
Modric through, there's Mbappe, down he goes. The ball's put in by Vinicius Junior. The ref has a look across at the assistant. There we are. Vinicius Junior knew it. We knew it was coming. And now it is happening for Real Madrid. From 2-0 down to being level at 2-2 inside the space of 3 minutes of football.
See there that he's onside.
Looked pretty clear.
Yeah, just his back foot.
It's a great tackle, actually. I wondered if it might be a penalty at first, but it was a great tackle. Joining in is Chan. Look at the room now that Brandt has. Brandt across behind Girassi. Bayer keeps his feet. Kept out by Courtois.
Real Madrid have been so good.
Rodrigo. Lucas Vazquez. Oh, he's got it back. Vazquez!
It's a great finish from him.
What about the burst of pace to breeze past Bensebaini? And you knew that would happen. Pandemonium all around Carlo Ancelotti. Cool as you like. I'm sure our German colleagues in the media will be just pulling lots as Vinicius Junior goes through. Oh, Vinicius Junior's got another one. Now they're running away with it.
To run from that distance, so comfortable with the ball. He's looking. I'm going to go inside, and what a finish when he gets to that position. He's been outstanding in the second half.
2 on the night for Vinicius Junior. He says he speaks to every week. Here's Vinicius Junior. He's on the hat-trick. He's going to get it. It is magnificent. And it has been a virtuoso display in the second half from the brilliant Brazilian, Vinicius Junior. Scrapping a bit more than those in yellow now.
Yeah, they just can't clear the ball, can they? And when he gets the ball in here, again, they just can't get it away. There's players in and around him, but which way is he going to go? Is he going to go on his right foot? No, he shifts it onto his left foot. And
Real Madrid 5, Borussia Dortmund 2.
All right, well, here are the results now from elsewhere in the Champions League. So that 5-1 win from Monaco versus Cervena Zveda, a 3-1 win for Milan versus Club Brugge, a 1-0 win for Arsenal against Shakhtar Donetsk, Stuttgart 1-0 against Juventus, a Sporting 2-0 against Sturm Graz, and then a 1-1 draw between PSG and PSV. Girona, 2 goals in that win versus Slovan Bratislava, and Aston Villa, a 2-2 versus Bologna. Let's take a look at the table now after today's results. So at the top of the table, you can see Aston Villa. They're at the top on 9 points on the matches that they have so far. Monaco in 7 points, Sporting in 7, and Arsenal, they have 7 points as well. Then as we continue to look at the knockout round of the playoffs, Real Madrid in 9th position on 6 points. Liverpool, they have 6 points as well. Juventus in 11th position on 6 points. And as we continue to look further down the table, elimination, we have Atleti in 25th position, Club Brugge on 26th, PSV in 27th position, and that list goes on. Well, UCL time means Brent Sancho is going to stop by on the SportsMax Zone, and he joins us this afternoon to discuss the game. Brent, how are you doing?
My breath from that fixture between Real Madrid and Dortmund. Really exciting encounter of football, and is exactly what you would expect from a Real Madrid team. Pure entertainment and class.
Yeah, but Brent, let me tell you, right, when I looked at the match at halftime, Real Madrid was down 2. So I went to get my lunch and I came back, and then I recognized that this was going to be a comeback win for Real Madrid. And the only thing I could say is there's something about Real Madrid when it comes to the Champions League. We've been seeing that.
Yeah, that's something, is an abundance of quality, abundance of match winners, and this an abundance of talent and belief that they should always be in the reckoning when it comes to Champions League football. It certainly was not one of their better games. In fact, when both Vinicius Jr. And Jude Bellingham hit the crossbar for Real Madrid, I thought that was it. Lights out, game over. It's not going to be their day. It's not their type of day. But lo and behold, who am I to counter Real Madrid? They turned things around in the second half, and a storming performance in the second half. Vinny Jr. was unplayable in the second half. The likes of Bellingham, and I could go through the entire list of players. It's a true testament to the club and what they've brought to Champions League football.
Yeah, but when you look at the match, of course, you know, it is true that it was a game of 2 halves, because in the first half, Real Madrid, they struggled offensively. I mean, it was evident. Then in the second half, we have a player like Vinny Jr. deciding this is not going to happen. He scores a hat-trick. He gets assists from Kylian Mbappe, from Jude Bellingham, and the goals kept coming to the point we're talking about a 5-2 win.
Yeah, they were a bit disjointed in the first half. I think a lot of it, Mariah, came down to quality in the final third. The quality that we expect from Real Madrid just didn't happen for them. I mentioned, of course, they hit in the crossbar a couple of times, Mbappe having 1 or 2 flashes at goal, and the list goes on, of course, Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo. But the difference really in the second half was that quality came, and it didn't just come, it came gushing and flowing and in abundance. And when Real Madrid plays like that, it's almost impossible for any team on this planet to be able to stop them. However, this season in particular, they have struggled to find the sort of consistency that we're used to from this Real Madrid team. That be it, you cannot, and as Dortmund would have found out today, you cannot count them out because of the fact that they could call on the names that I have mentioned so far to try to win them a football game. Most football teams may have 1 or by best 2. This is a Real Madrid team with 3 and 4 players that could take over a football game at any point in time.
Yeah, and Brent, we can't help but we have to assess what went wrong for Borussia Dortmund in that second half, just keeping in the back of our mind that they have a new head coach, so all of those things to consider.
I just think that they never really adjusted because already it was coming. They still played with the expansive football. They were still trying to get at Real Madrid. They were still trying to go for points. I think once they realized that if I was sitting in the hot seat, that things were starting to, the rub of the green, as they call it, was starting to go in Real Madrid's way. I probably would have closed up shop a bit, but I don't think Dortmund, in their history, have the capability of really closing up shop and maybe be a bit more pragmatic. I thought they were still a bit too open and leaving themselves very much vulnerable to transition. And we saw that, especially when you have the likes of Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo and Mbappe isolated in 1v1 situations. What they did very good in the first half is they hunted in packs. They made it very difficult for Real Madrid to operate. But in the second half, the spaces and the gaps started to open, which is a bit surprising because they were leading 2-0.
Yeah, you just sort of touched on what I was going to ask you, Brent, because Dortmund clearly had a very good first half. One of their goal scorers, Jamie Gittins, England-born, Barbadian descent, actually holds dual citizenship. Good goal for him as well. But I guess you pointed to the fact that when Real Madrid turns on the heat, they are pretty much unstoppable. So there was very little Dortmund could have done in the second half to prevent the rampant Real Madrid from taking the game over.
Yeah, and Lance, when you look at the type of goals that Real Madrid score, it's indicative of the conversation that we're having. The talent and the quality that they have. Vinny Jr. could take 2-3 players on. Of course, the type of service that Kylian Mbappe could put on display, for example, that puts it right on the head of Rudiger. I mean, yes, you could call claims on the defender for being a bit tighter, but I mean, that's a point-perfect pass. And when you look at the sorts of goals and situations that Real Madrid started to create, albeit, of course, as I said, I believe Dortmund defended better in groups and in packs in the first half. Second half, still, a lot of what Real Madrid had done was, as I said, definitely unplayable.
Yeah, and two things before we wrap the segment, because we will talk to you after the break about tomorrow's games as well. But I guess one of the exclamation marks about a Real Madrid win like today would be the fact that they have a forward like Kylian Mbappe. They score 5 goals and he doesn't score any.
It's called a spoil of riches. Yeah, you're right. And they have Endrick on the bench, and they have young Gulan, and the list goes on and on and on. And that, I think, is a challenge. Look, we talk a lot about teams that can compete for Champions League and Real Madrid owning this competition. A lot of it is down to the fact that they've always been able to produce match winners, significant match winners in abundance like what they have. I'm struggling to think, of course, you may go back to the likes of Ronaldo, well, not Ronaldo, you call him Fat Boy Ronaldo, Figo, and that type. That's where I compare this team to, because when I look at the individuals within the squad, they are impeccable when they're on their day. Yes, Vinny Jr. has struggled a bit with Brazil, but when he's on song for Real Madrid, I question anyone who could stop him really in world football when he is in that sort of mood.
Yeah. And of course, the Ballon d'Or award will be announced next week. Vinicius Jr. is already considered the favorite for the award, and I guess today's effort and today's show sort of puts a little bit more shine on his potential.
Yeah, and when you look at his first half performance, it was very frustrating. There were missed touches, missed passes, overweight passes, etc. He was really awful in the first half. He hit the crossbar with one, which was a chance that he created with his ability and skill. And you put that up against what we saw in the second half. It's almost like it was a different person. I'd be questioned if he has a twin, because it's not. He came out like a house on fire, and that's what I talk about when you talk about Vinny Jr., a player with that professionalism. And Lance, you could go back a couple of years and you would remember Vinny Jr. was almost a scapegoat at Real Madrid, and back then he would have crashed, but he came out and he showed the type of professional he is and the type of quality he has, and was able to turn things around in the second half and was a catalyst for the Real Madrid comeback.
Yeah, and earned his team, of course, a massive win. Well, Brent, we're going to take a quick break at this point in time, but you're staying with us, and when we come back, we take a look into the matches that are coming up on the channel tomorrow, so stay with us.